On the back straightaway, into turn number 3, thick thin, still 3 wide, Brandon Feeney, high, wide, and handsome. He's going to go to the outside and get past Camillo.
I don't mean to be two birds and bees with you folks, but this is how cautions are born.
Welcome to episode number 50 of the Feeney Call. Yeah, from episode 1 last year to now, we've made a couple changes. We've slowly been getting better. Done a few things worse here and there as part of the learning curve. So hopefully you've liked where we're kind of at the moment. Tonight's guest will be Billy Zardo. If you don't know Zardo, you're probably not a Canadian racing fan, as probably one of the more familiar names in Canadian racing. Yeah. So this weekend, the APC race was at Peterborough, and the Dayco Superstocks were with them. And I'm not gonna lie, taking pictures and stuff like that, and there was a couple bad wrecks. Unfortunately, Chad Strawn blew an engine, and right as he entered the corner, and there a few trucks got piled into him because they had nowhere to go, no way to avoid it. But yeah, so unfortunately his truck wasn't able to run the rest of the night. And but we had a bunch of heat winners that were running our logos, stuff like that. Carson Nagy dominated the super stock field. And then the Dan McCaddy car, which we helped out on for this race with the podcast, dominated the APC field with his home built late models. We had him on a couple weeks ago now. It's honestly great to see a guy that can still build his own car, do everything himself, build his own shocks and stuff like that, have the conies and stuff like that, compete with these guys with $4,000 shock packages or etc. and do well. Hopefully it brings more locals out for other tracks. It'd be nice to have some local cars each. Sorry, it'd be nice to see some local cars trying to take on some of Ontario's best and Canada's best in the APC series. I kind of do want to see this series hit even more tracks up. Um, like I understand that they base it kind of on sponsors and stuff like that, but it's getting to the point where they run quite a long schedule and they don't hit a lot of tracks. They hit, I think, Sauble, Sunset, Flamborough, and Peterborough and Delaware. I'm not sure personally if they hit any more tracks. I know they could probably go to full throttle. It'd be probably if these guys are as good as the best we have. So say a track's too small for them, which I get, like if you have so many cars, like it's gonna stack them up, but that's gonna NASCAR ran Bristol and it was conveyor belt for years, or Martinsville, it was conveyor belt. And I feel like that's gonna be like, if it's supposed to be the best form of entertainment, like you at that point it make the drivers have to push all race, and you'd have those guys wearing tires out, and I don't know. That's just thought process. But another thing we're gonna announce is June 29th, I think it is. I'll have to double check. We will be at Sauble Speedway driving with CGC, and they are raising money for Racing for a Cure, Racing for Hope, with their 81 Honda Civic bone stock. I believe the plan is we're going to be driving that car. Um, haven't really got all the details ironed out. We've been all busy, but we're going to do a very similar thing to what we did with the Toltons, and we're going to run pledges and stuff like that for the heats and the feature for a total. So it'll be 3 races total being added in. I'm going to do the same thing, just a dollar per finish between positions. So first place is $1, and 10th place is $10, et cetera, et cetera. So like if I get fifth, 10th, that's $20. It's not a lot of money, but if you start getting 10, 15 people doing it, they can add up pretty quickly. And it all goes to charity. Plus, we're gonna have some panels being auctioned off and stuff like that. You'll see more on Facebook posts and stuff through the week. I might have already made them by the time this comes out. But we're also going to have the entire month of August. It looks like we're shaping up to have Ladies of Motorsports Month. I might rename that a little bit. That's going to be, we are just ironing out details with the sponsor for that month to possibly do something pretty big. At least I think it's pretty big. Um, to to create something good and hopefully get some attention to some of these ladies that definitely deserve it as much as some of the male drivers and stuff that may not get it. So and then we're gonna have a special guest host, guest co-host for all those episodes as well, which we'll reveal more later. But without further ado, let's bring on the man of the 50th episode, Billy Z3 Zardo. Welcome into the Feeney call. We got Billy Z3 Zardo, and how you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing great. So we snuck you away from baby duty for a little bit. You've had quite a hectic 2024, and most of it's been getting married, having a baby, plus finding time to work on race cars here and there. How do you keep it all in balance?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a really busy guy. I feel if I'm not busy, I always feel bored or like I should be doing something. So um, taking time away from racing is the best thing that I could ask for right now because I got my little boy Liam now. He's almost 4 months old. Get to spend a lot more time with the wife, which is definitely well needed and deserved because she put a lot of things on hold for me for the racing stuff. So I mean, I still get out to the shop once, sometimes twice a week, just to kind of stay in it and stay involved with the Zardo Racing program. But for the most part, I'm being daddy, I'm being husband, and I'm enjoying it. And we're kind of using this downtime in the shop to get a little more organized. A lot of people who know us know we're very hard workers, but our organization skills are kind of out to whack. So trying to get organized and come out for some of the bigger races and go from there.
Yeah, I was gonna say your organizing skill is still like tower mine because I still haven't cleaned up the toolbox that fell on the way to colors. I'm not racing this year, so I'm like, if I don't open the trailer door, I don't have to worry about the toolbox.
You're busier than you are when you're normally racing though, like all the stuff you've been doing.
Yeah. Between work, sub driving, photography, media write-ups, podcasts,
Yep.
announcing for Impact Motorsports once in a while is going to be coming up here. Might just signed on a new job to work with Peterborough Speedway. We'll see if that comes through. Um, so yeah, if that comes through, I'll probably let you guys know on another podcast. But um, so it's just off to your right side there. You got one of the last Crown Jewel trophies sitting to you. So
Oh, yes, sir.
why do you explain to people what it's like to have one of the last Crown Jewel trophies sitting there? Obviously, we hope
I
they come back, but like right now, you're the guy.
Yeah, that just the experience alone of being able to say I won at Cayuga slash Jacasa is something on its own. And then you throw in the history of the track and the history of my family there. I mean, I'm sure there's others, but from what I know, I'm the only one, like the only family that I know of personally that grandfather, aunt, dad, uncle, cousin, brother, and me, everyone who races in our family has won now at Jacasa. So that's pretty cool to say. I mean, the race itself, it wasn't a big big turnout. Because that year the limited late models were kind of failing off. But we still had about, I'm gonna say 14 good cars, and 5 easily could have won the race, and luck just played in our favor. One really cool thing about that weekend was on the Friday, I actually had to work when my brother and grandfather took the car testing. And there's a video floating out there that my grandfather actually hopped back in the car and did some test laps at Cuga. So that was pretty cool to have that happen on that weekend as well. Junior Hanley had his hand in it, and my brother definitely played the majority part of getting the car where it needed to be, and the car was just nice to drive.
Yeah, and you guys have always had this like twin dynamic, like being brothers. Lane has always been, I find, the I'm on the throttle early, I'm getting to the front as fast as I can, and you've always been like the methodical one. Pick your passes, don't mark up the car, like be there in the long run. Is that just like different ways you were taught, or is that just like different personalities, or is it just like, well, if he's gonna get there faster, I'll just make my way up there and I'll meet him there.
Yeah, I think it's more of in life in general, my brother's a little bit more reckless. He's the guy that talks me to jump off of a bridge going into the water from 30, 40 feet up, where I'm thinking, okay, well, it's going to be fun going down, but what about the landing sort of thing? Um, I say that because it's happened. Yeah, yeah, up at the boat. But you know, different driving styles. Every single driver is very different, and it just so happens his driving style is a little bit more aggressive, where I'm a little bit more patient and like to pick my spots a little more wisely. It it doesn't really have anything to do with the work done at the shop, because lately my brother's been picking up all of the slack at the shop, and he still goes out and drives like an animal. So it's not that.
Yeah, if he bends a fender and he fixes it, that's on him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so what was it like? Because I know when I first kind of met you guys were both racing late models at Sunset Speedway. Was it like you found that like you guys raced each other harder because you were brothers, or was it just like helmets on, I don't care who's in that car?
For the most part, it was helmets on, but you always have that little bit of brotherly rivalry, I guess you could call it. But at the same time, if we wrecked, we're fixing 2 race cars, and in 1 week, that was back when we were racing every single week, and 2 late models working all week. It's tough on its own. Never mind with 2 wreck race cars. So we always raced elbows up and didn't care to have to rub fenders and leave tire marks for sure. But there was always Grandpa in the back of our mind saying, "You guys better keep the wheels on this thing," sort of thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna rip the wheels off, you guys better at least be fighting for the checkered flag.
Exactly, exactly.
Because I feel like if you guys both like had no fenders left, but it was for the win, he'd be smiling at both of you.
Yep, yep, 100%, 100%. And whoever didn't get wrecked, he would have went up and said, "Why didn't you wreck him first?"
So, like you said, you're having a little bit of time off this year, and your last race in the pro late model at Sunset. Is that where you want to continue to race, or are you looking maybe coming back into like a different division after having some time off? Or
So actually this year we got a brand new Pro 8 model built by McCall's. My brother went up to McCall and put a whole ton of work into that thing. Um, so this is actually the first time we got a brand new chassis ever in mine and my brother's racing careers, at least. Um, so we're learning the car right now. We're using the off time to do a little bit of testing here and there. Um, I'm coming back. My next race is probably going to be the Junior Hanley Classic over at Sunset. I would like to hit up Peterborough Speedway for the Autumn Colors, because honestly, that's one of my favorite tracks. I love racing there. I love the G-force. I love the up on the wheel driving style. But at the same time, because it's a 167 lapper, you're up on the wheel every lap, but you also have to get comfortable. So it's kind of a mixture of both, and knowing when to push it and when not to. And you yourself, I mean, you did 3 series, was it, in one weekend,
Yeah, last year.
right?
Well, it
It's
was
tough.
technically 2 weekends.
And it's, you know what, it's tough on your body for sure. And so you got to kind of get in a rhythm. But at Peterbilt, things happen so quick, so you still got to be on top of your toes. So I'm planning on doing that race, and who knows, maybe we'll get out to Flamborough once or twice, and just kind of run that outlaw schedule, and have fun with it, and get a little more organized, and get back to winning pretty much, because lately we've kind of gone on a downward slope. I mean, last year was a very tough year, mentally, physically as well. We went through some rough races, and doing everything without my grandfather for the first time was definitely a little tough. Dealing with the financial was tough. Dealing with knowing doing things that he knew that we weren't quite sure about was tough. Just things you would just go and ask him what he thought. So we were able to push through, which we're very proud about. And he used to always say, "You guys are effed without me." And in one sense, that's true, but in the other sense, he taught us so damn well that we keep on pushing through, right?
Yeah, and with saying that, and with the way your grandfather was, he would say that, but it would kind of be like, "Hey, if I didn't teach you the way I taught you, you'd be screwed, and you wouldn't be anywhere near where you are." But it's because he taught you that way. It's kind of
Yep.
gave you guys this good backbone of like, you have to work your asses off. This is what you want to do if you're going to be competitive, and that's kind of always been your family spirit. Is you got the you got the grindstone going in the shop and the elbows up on the track, and that's how everyone in your family pretty much is, I think.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I gotta ask, does Liam already have a racing nickname from like birth? Because like
No, not yeah. You got to earn one of those. You
I
gotta,
know,
yeah,
but the
you gotta
family
earn it.
tradition carries on because like you had to like come down to like, Zardo Jr., then you have Z3 Zardo, the Thrill Billy, right? I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
like as soon as you named him Liam, if Brendan Doherty, especially because he's great at nicknames, is like, all right, I've got this.
Yeah. No, not yet. We're if that's the path he chooses to go in life, then he'll have to earn that nickname, and I'm sure if Dorothy is still announcing, he'll definitely come up with a banger for sure for a nickname. But no, I would never want to force anything on him. Obviously, he's gonna try. I want him to try it, but I also want him to try hockey, lacrosse, soccer, anything and everything. I want him to try, and it's weird because I never thought I would think this, but I want him to live his own life. Um, and I'll catch him when he falls, sort of thing. I mean, I've never. It's weird. I've only been a dad for 4 months, and I've never experienced feelings like I do when I come home and look at that kid. So I'm pretty pumped up for what the future holds for me, my wife, and my son.
So has Uncle Lane already started corrupting little Liam there?
I think he's tried a couple times, but we caught him. So Lane's already accepted the fact he's not allowed to hang around Liam until he's 21 by himself. So
Well, 21 in the States, or is it 18 in Canada?
it's 18, but probably going to be 21 for Uncle Lane.
Or he pays bail.
That's right.
So, what do you obviously, what do you miss most of not racing this year? And what are some of your favorite moments that you've had kind of from the past, whether it be racing with your brother, people you raced with, or certain moments you've had through your career?
So the thing that's tough mentally is growing up, just like you. I was in the shop pretty well every night, and it's a bit of an adjustment, but I definitely made the right choice of being at home every night now. Um, but at the same time, racing, and any real racer will tell you that they get a certain feeling when they're strapping into the car. It's not just for the joy of it; it's for the feeling that it gives them as well, and it's their way of life. As far as the memories go, GCAS is right up there. Um, but it's just it's working at the track with the family, learning what I can from my uncle, trying to learn with my brother as much as possible. And 2 years ago was a milestone of kind of get stepping back in the seat and letting my grandfather race and being pit crew with him. I mean, he went out the way anyone should, which is living hard, working hard, partying hard, and loving your family hard, right? So
Yeah, and also you got a win in, I believe, his last year of hot rod racing too,
yeah,
which
yeah.
was
Actually, so I wasn't even there for that win. Me and Amanda were on our honeymoon, so we were watching it live from one of our pit crews camera.
so was that like a weird feeling to see your grandfather win but not being there? And then like did
A little bit. I mean, I I was lucky enough to be able to watch him in the super late models for a good handful of years before he kind of put the helmet down. I remember I would race in the morning with my go kart over at Waterloo Regional Kart Club when they were based out of Binghamans, and then we would rush from there and drive out to either Flamborough or Sunset or wherever he was racing the super late model that day. And then he would race the super with guys like Al Shepstone, and Junior Hanley wasn't really racing that I can remember. Um, but he was Wayne Isaac. There was a whole bunch of those old super late model guys. Rob Clark was a big one there. Magic Shoes, they called him. So I was lucky enough to see him race at like Kawartha, for instance, and that was always a big deal. And that's a track I never got to race at. Um, Unfortunately, that got shut down, and same as Barrie Speedway, I never got to race there. So it was always cool to watch him when I was younger and know that I just raced that same day, and one day I'm going to do something to that extreme.
yeah. And with you, like you get a race with obviously your brother and stuff like that, and you've had your whole family there and stuff like that. So as a third generation racer, you've kind of had maybe the right steps like thrown in with karting and stuff like that. For someone that doesn't maybe have like guidance and stuff like that to get into racing, what kind of advice would you like to give them? Like, where do you think they should start? Like, if they're at a certain age, should they start in the bone stock? Should they start karting? Like, what's your honest opinion on that?
For younger kids, go karting is great because it just teaches them how to steer, how to brake, that kind of thing. I'm loving the junior late models. There's a whole whack load of them now. It teaches finesse, um, it teaches sportsmanship, all that sort of thing. If you're an older person, good thing to start is either bone stock or mini stock. It's great beginner series, and then even though it's beginner series, you're racing against veterans, and it doesn't matter what series you're in. It doesn't matter what track you're at. There's always guys willing to lend a hand. That's one amazing thing about the racing community is no matter where you are, there's always somebody out there to help you. So just don't ever think you know it all because you don't know nothing compared to some of these guys. And always learn. Um, and yeah, just have fun while you're doing it because if you're not having fun, it's a heck of a thing to do, right? Like the this thing we love to do, racing, it can really kick you in the stomach. Most days it kicks you in the stomach, and then you got the odd day that everything just clicks and you're sitting in victory lane, and it could be years before you get there. So just keep on going and have fun with it, and keep your family close when you do it.
Yeah, so John Baker Jr. has one of my favorite quotes that kind of helped me in my racing career when I was early on. When I was like, it's like when you first start racing, it's just like I love doing it. It just doesn't matter. But as you kind of go through, you have to treat it more kind of like a job. And the saying goes, you have to hate racing as much as you love racing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so, so when the times are good, you have to keep yourself humble to not like overspend or go too far into it where you're going to actually hurt yourself in the long run and the rest of your life. But at the same time, when the times are tough, you're fixing a damaged car or destroyed car, you got to love it, and that's what keeps you going to the shop every night.
Absolutely. It's basically the opposite of what you would think, right? Like most people would think you gotta love it when you're winning and hate it. But no, it's the complete opposite, right? Like exactly what you just said. You gotta stay humble and you gotta love it enough to keep on going.
So, who are a few guys that you want to say you got to race with before maybe like you get to the point where you're no longer racing? Like, is there guys that you have on your pick list of like, because I know you've got to race against some pretty big names like that are pretty big, like J.R. Fitzpatrick's and stuff like that. Like, is there people you see like moving up the class you'd like to race, or like people you still see from like maybe your dad's time or your grandfather's time? They're like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool to race against these guys.
I mean, I would like to you already said his name, Jared Fitzpatrick. I would like to race knuckle to knuckle, fender to fender with him because every time I've been on the track with him, he's kind of walked away from me. But the talent in that guy alone is insane. But I kind of grew up with him because he was close with my cousin Pete Shepard. So I was always a little kid kind of hanging around and I was the one that I laid down on the ground while they jumped me with scooters, sort of thing. Right. So I would like to have a car that can be competitive with JR and really, really race good with him. Um, Also, there's it, there's a big list, but like I would love to race honestly my grandfather. I mean, I never really got the chance to ever race against him, so that would have been a cool thing we if we could have made it happen. Um, did, you know what? I'm just happy with every opportunity I can get, and there's not really a single pinpointed person that I could say that I want to race against. It's just everybody, pretty much, you know.
Everyone that races you clean is more than welcome.
Exactly. Let's do it. Let's do it. If I can get on the track, let's do it.
So we'll see you going 3-4 wide on the top is what you're saying at Sunset for the Junior Hailing Classic.
Let's go.
So you know him a little bit better than I do. Is there any shot we see Junior Hanley back in a race car for one last swing, like a hot rod or something like that? Like has
I highly doubt it. I mean, we brought that. I tried to get him in my late model. I'm gonna say 6 or 7 years ago, maybe even longer. When he was helping us when I just started racing late models, and he had no interest in even practicing it because I asked him I wanted to see what he could do in my car sort of thing and see where I could improve. And he had no interest then. I don't think he has any interest now, but that guy still lives and breathes racing to this day. I mean, I've seen him working and rolling on the ground like he was 20 years old. And I know we couldn't keep up with him. So,
yeah, that guy is not going to be outsmarted by any of us anytime soon.
no,
I just hope he's got half of it written down in a book. Because I know
yeah,
most of it's like just rolling in his brain of like I have watched him. He's well, it's back when you guys used to help me when I first showed up to Sunset in that blue late model that I struggled with. You guys brought your grandfather and Junior Handler over the one time. They without even like asking, they looked over the car, and be like, "Oh, do this, this, this." I'm like, "I don't know what this is." So they sat down, explained it to me, lent me parts to change some things that day at the track, made the car way better, and that's just kind of who they are. It's no, they're kind of the essence of Canadian racing all the way from back then. Of we don't want to see guys struggle. We want them to be fast. We want them to be door to door with us, fighting for wins, and
yeah,
make it harder on ourselves to actually race for wins. Because oddly enough, it's not the winning we enjoy; it's the fighting for the win we enjoy. And if you
absolutely.
like, I don't want to say it's boring to run up front because I've never had that experience, right? But you'll talk to these guys that have been dominant, and they'll go and help all these guys and be like, you can see them, they'll get complacent for a while, and then they finally get a challenge, and they'll finish second and be way happier than they've been for like the last 2 years dominating.
I guarantee you, Corey McAllister, I'm not going to say happier because that boy likes to win, but I guarantee you he had more fun in the OSS race that just happened on Saturday when he was fighting for first and finished second. I mean, I'm sure he got pretty frustrated at certain events that happened during the race, but for the most part, I guarantee you he had more fun that race than he has in some other races that he just went out and dominated.
Yeah, because
Because when you're leading by that far, you're practicing.
yeah,
You're making sure you don't use up the brakes, and you're driving careful because you don't want to slip up or overuse your equipment, and just in case there is a caution and stuff. So you're not pushing yourself, and us race car drivers like to push the limit as much as possible.
yeah, it's oddly you're super relaxed when you have that kind of lead. Even like
Yeah,
so like I don't win a lot. So like even the one race I won at Peterborough when I had the super stock there, I had enough of a lead that I just spent the time minding the gap and like not pushing the car, not burning the tires because if we had a restart, I didn't want to lose the race that way. And it's
yeah,
like I'd rather be battling door to door and like there's been times I've been battling with like Mark Gordon and stuff like that on the outside and he ended up winning and stuff like that or I'd end up like with like fighting Dan McCaddy on the outside for I think we ran 18 laps at Peterborough of a 20 lap feature side by side. Now he's probably entertaining a little bit for the fans because that man is quicker than anyone I know. But
yeah.
those moments are the ones that you remembered. Like those are the ones that entertain the crowd. Those are the ones that are like, man, if I had a little bit more, I might have been able to clear him here. Or if I did this, I'm like those are the fun moments.
Yep, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
speaking of fun, I thought you said Lane was the bad experience, but I'm hearing that Jared Fitzpatrick's jumping you with scooters.
Yeah, so I don't know who owned it, but it was at my cousin's house, Pete Shepherd's, and it was my cousin, Jared Fitzpatrick, and Daniel Bois, and I was stupid enough to say, "Hey, let me lay underneath the ramp." They cleared me, and I think Daniel Bois came down there and they cleared me and Daniel at one point too. But yeah, it was a little electric scooter, so we
So
had some fun.
yeah, and you say Lane's the bad influence.
And Lane has done some pretty interesting things that I can't say right now. They're kind of his stories to tell, so maybe you'll get lucky enough to hear one day.
Yeah, maybe we'll find enough time in Lane's Zardo schedule that he can sneak on here between all like you think we're busy. Lane doubles up, makes us look like we're doing nothing.
Oh, I know that kid has no stop in him. Um, Unfortunately, he'll finish 3 projects and have another 2 half done, and then start another 3 and have another 2 half done. But he's always he works his butt off, and I mean this year especially, but even many previous years, I wouldn't have been able to get to the track without him. He's done a lot of all nighters with me to just get the car loaded enough time to get out there for qualifying, sort of thing. So um, I owe a lot of stuff to him, and as he does to me. I mean, we help each other out, and that's one thing we're grateful to have learned from our grandfather is we can't do it without each other. So I mean, I know he's lucky enough he's got that awesome ride with Kenny Grubb there, but the Zardo Racing program cannot go forward without myself and him. So he's definitely considered one of my heroes, not only in racing but in life, and we move forward together with everything, right?
Yeah.
He's a pain in the ass.
But he's
Definitely a
your
pain
pain
in
in
the
the
ass.
ass.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're starting to run low on time here, so I'm going to give you a few moments to thank the sponsors that you guys have for Zardo Racing, or any sponsors that helped you in the past, where they can find Zardo Racing on social media, and if you guys still have any Zardo Racing merchandise, where they can find it and buy it off you guys.
Absolutely. So for the Zardo Racing merchandise, you can go to Epic Racewear, and check them out. They make some killer stuff. They got my grandfather's pit crew shirts, and then they got Billy Z3 Zardo shirts from last year. This year I didn't order any new ones, but you can order it through them or contact myself, and we'll get you geared up. As for social media, we just got myself, Billy Zardo on Facebook, and then Zardo Racing on Facebook, and we try to update as much as possible. And the sponsors couldn't not do it this year without MC Mechanical and KRM Medwald. Those guys have really put a big step forward in our program and helping us huge to get this new car rolling, as well as Shelby Roofing, National Exhaust, Airport and Steels Auto. Just all the guys, all the pit crew, everyone's doing their part to get this thing rolling and continue in the right direction. So thank you to them.
And you're gonna have the huge lineup for the gas tank official check, because I know about that tradition.
Yeah, that's right.
So do you want to quickly share the story of how that one started and what that tradition is?
Refresh my memory. I'm having a little bit of a tough time right now.
Where every guy on the crew has to check the gas cap.
Yes. So I'll tell you why that started. I don't know how much time we have.
You got
It's not a
about
long
5 minutes.
So Peterborough Speedway, Autumn Colors, 2013. Started third, took the lead on lap 3 of the heat race. So they only do 8 laps, I believe, right?
8 or 10,
So
depending on when it
took
was.
the lead, and this was going to be my first heat or feature any race win at Peterborough. So I was pumped up, and they threw the black flag at me and drove around for about 3 laps, my hand out the window. And then they caution flagged it and told me to get the hell off the track. So I was pissed, but I was also pissed at myself because I didn't check it. So I just triple check it and get everybody to check it. I mean, it happens. I mean, everybody's in such a rush and everyone has their jobs to do. And sometimes people get pulled from each job, and because there's some more important things to go on with the race car, as you know, and as everybody else out there knows. And that's one of the things about a little bit better organization. I mean, just gotta try and get it all figured out somehow.
Get people
Some people are
designated
better
jobs
than
and stuff.
others.
So,
Yeah. Some people are better than others, and we're getting better. We're definitely getting better, and we're happy with where we're at now. We redid the shop, which I believe my brother posted there a bit ago.
well, yeah, because you
So
had to race the car at colors because it was getting a new floor.
yeah,
It
yeah,
couldn't sit in there.
yeah,
So actually, no,
yeah,
it was Lane that raced at colors while the new floor was getting.
yeah. I was supposed to, and then we got rained out, and I had some previous obligations, so my brother just went back, and we already had the tires, so it didn't cost us anything extra. So he went out there and he drove the hell out of that car, but he finished 4th with it. So it was cool. Our last 4 outings, or our last 3 outings, were all 4ths. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I guess that means you have to go 4 for 4 at least, or better at the Junior Handling Classic.
Yeah, 172 laps. So I'm trying to get myself pumped up for it. And well, I'm pumped up. I'm trying to get my body pumped up for it. And I kind of got this dad bod going on slowly.
That's just left
So
side weight.
that's right. That's right.
So it was actually, we talk about the 167. So I'm sitting in the car and everyone's working on like our car trying to get better. I lost power steering, I think lap 62 or something like that. So just before the yellow, they're trying to see if they can figure it out or if I have to deal with it. And then watching your brother run back and forth, grab parts, start fixing the car, freaking, he was just trying to do everything himself because I guess that's just likes to go. And then like, all right, everyone's like, we're starting to roll here. I see your brother grabbing the belts, yanking them tight, freaking. I'm like, this man needs to take like a breath and like have a drink. Like he's got a lot more
Yeah,
racing to do today.
yeah. My brother, he's really taken on this crew chief role. And with the late model, he likes to be so hands-on just because it is a pro late model, and they're not little toys. I mean, it they're kind of normal for us racers now, but these are damn race cars, right? Like they're not little dinky cars. So he likes being so hands-on and I guess rather than telling somebody or trying to explain exactly what he wanted, he just got it and did it himself. I remember watching that on the TV and found it funny.
Yeah, because you know as well as I do, with you get to how fine the specifications of where these perlates are, not enough or too much grease in the one part can actually be a tenth or two gained or lost.
Yep, absolutely. They're very finicky, and those who can hit it amazingly, and others struggle a little bit. But I mean, you can go back and forth. The car can be great one week and horrible the next week. So that's why you always got to stay on your game, and we're slowly getting better at that, and gonna go from there.
All right. Anyway, thank you, Billy, for joining me. I hope you have a great week. You know, spend the family time. Can't wait to see you at the Junior Hanley Classic at Sunset Speedway later on this year, and see that familiar number 46 back on track and hopefully in victory lane.
I appreciate it, Feeney. Thank you very much, and chat with you soon.
See you, little buddy.